just suggest to have a joint breakout room, not separate breakout rooms, and just go through some questions for each of the hubs. And my first question in this case would be, where do you think, and you could put it in the chat, of course, or you could speak, where do you think the issue is in innovation related in rare earth materials and permanent magnets? What do you see? What are we lacking? What do we need to boost, especially considering also the European policies? Where's the financing conditions, and how do we see our competition? Again, in a way of support methods. So I will open the floor. I don't know who's the bravest. Well, because next to me is Tulio on the board. So Tulio, you say first.
Okay. Well, as I said during the presentation, actually, there is a problem of lacking material, but it's also a problem lacking technologies in Europe. So some technologies are not produced in Europe. So we need manufacturing technologies or technologies in general to treat material in order to be able to do that in large volumes. So in principle, to be leading in this field, we need also to have machines that can do all the process chain that we described in the various hubs. So we do have some, in some area we are even leaders, but we have other areas where we are not really leading, and some areas where we don't have any technology. So that is, I think, an issue that should be fostered at European level, because even if we had all the mines of rare earth in our country, we couldn't treat them due to the lack of technologies. So we need to do both, you know, we need to have access to the raw materials. We need to get material from short loop and recycling and long loop recycling. So we need to take advantage of existing magnets already. And we need to have technologies to treat with all these, all the material and all the steps that are needed to obtain magnets. In particular, what we have seen is that it's not easy to obtain high quality magnets. That is the problem also. I mean, you may obtain magnets, but not necessarily of the top quality that is needed for some application. So again, this is an area where Europe should put effort, in my opinion. The circularity is quite clear in both the projects, the sister projects. So I think it's, again, an area where Europe should put effort, is well addressed, but a lot of problems needs to be solved. There are many steps, and at the moment, I would say that nobody is able to do everything that is needed. So we really need a supply chain. So that is something that is quite clear in the projects, but I think it's just the beginning. We need to do a lot of work in this direction, and that is clearly promising for Europe, because before we are able to get primary raw materials, what we can do by sure is to reuse the magnets that we already have. So that circularity part, I think, is also very important.
Okay, thank you. Mark, you wanted to say something?
Yes, a lot of things, but I shall try to be very short.
Oh, no, please do.
For the machine, Tullio, I'm fully agree with you, but you know that we have in the task 6.3, we make a list of the machine that we need. and we shall also see on the mark what exists, and then we can, at the end of the exercise, we shall have a list of what we have and what we don't have, definitely. Voilà.
There's something else you wanted to add, Mark?
No, for the quality of the magnet, I told you to say that also. We shall see in the future, but we are in the beginning of the exercise, and the situation shall change. And Nico do a great job in the task 4.1 to make a mapping of what exists and where we can find some magnets. And it's also the evolution shall be, I suppose, be positive.
Okay. Maybe Christina and Marie, would you like to add something?
I will give the floor to Marie. Yes, please.
Yeah, me, this presentation was very enlightening because now I know the hubs, what are they doing. I think I will need some time to exactly analyze this. At least one synergy that I found now is that I've understood that you have technology providers that works with metallization. This is something that we are missing in REM Hub. So that's in the technology side, this is definitely something where we can look at. And I think when it comes to future collaboration, I think I will need to have deeper discussions with each of the hub leaders to understand better, to see how we can take this collaboration forward. But I see several areas where we could work together.
Okay, great. Thank you. Christina and then Pia put a comment in the chat. And then Camila.
Yeah, maybe to follow up what was said by the Maria, and then definitely we have to jointly look at this when it comes to this EU innovation landscape, because it's scattered like it's written here, but it's also the issue that how we can really make the innovations to be commercialized at the end, and this is definitely something what has to be further explored. And if the EU policies are following the approach what is there at the moment, there will be also quite interesting possibilities maybe on the future. And then of course definitely we have to deal with this step issue and to see that how we can take the best out of that. But that's definitely something coming on the way.
Okay, thank you. Pia, you put a comment in the chat.
Yes. Yeah, I was like thinking also be something that these projects could be doing together, is that at the end we need private funding. It is the way of scaling up, and private investors of course look long-term risks and the rewards they need to get, and therefore there should be a very stable policy and also a kind of certainty, or the member states or EU should be able to create this long-term market confidence somehow for the private investors or for the companies. And I think at the moment we are perhaps not in that situation. So even if there is innovations, we don't know what will be, for example, the price of these, and is it viable investing in these technologies. So I think that's something that we could try to collaborate somehow together.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any responses to Pia? If not, I will go to Camilo.
Maybe I had a response, I don't know, but I raised my hand, but I'm not first in line, so.
Camilo, did you want to go ahead?
Yes, Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to add a little bit on what Tulio said, that Europe is lacking a bit on the innovation part, but it's because Europe relies a lot on the import of the material. So now that we see the danger on that respect, so different projects like Permanent of RemHub or Supremo that I'm working in. Um, it's coming with with the innovation on finding a process that is gonna be cost efficient enough to compete with the biggest supplier, that is China. So yeah, in that respect, we're lacking on the technology side, but yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit on that, and then yeah, just thank you for this space on the hubs to just collaborate between the different projects.
Thank you. Tulio, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. I was just to follow on Plia comment and question. Yeah, I think this is a very relevant point because if things have to happen, obviously we need a path in that direction. And what is striking is that Europe is very strong in chemistry, is very strong in automation, is very strong in general in manufacturing. But in this field, we don't have that much. We don't have enough, let's say. We have in some areas, I said, we may be even leader, but not everywhere. And so I think the previous comment was quite clear. Obviously, if we are not producing, then we don't have technologies and so on and so forth. But this is exactly the point. Now, go in the direction of risk reduction, I see three steps. And this is the way we are trying to formulate the problem here at Polyme, and we are trying to bring this concept also in the project. First is you need to create a pilot that shows the viability of the technology. So it must show the viability on a scale that is based on real material or real products, but you are not dealing with efficiency, you're not dealing that much with production rate, you're not dealing with that much with maintenance or things that are not needed to demonstrate the technology, let's say. So that is the first pilot. And I would say that most of our activities in the Permanet project are in this phase. So in pilot one, let's say. Then we need pilot two, which again needs to be supported by public to the risk for companies, where exactly you know that technology is available, that is possible, but now you need to improve in terms of efficiency, of quality, in terms of availability. All these things are needed in order to bring to the point that the technology can be used, because otherwise companies don't want to risk in that step. So this second phase, this pilot two, let's say, is needed as well and should be supported by the public funding. So in this case, by the Commission. And I think that we are, at the end of the project, we will be in a place to go toward pilot two for many of the technologies that we are developing. And then, in my opinion, there is the third level that is kind of scale up for company, where clearly the company has to risk something, but having already the test of pilot one and pilot two that tell that is possible. And so that it will be the scale up part. And again, that needs to be supported by the public, but obviously in a different way in order to support the investment in new lines, in new systems that allow to create in Europe the real supply chain for big volumes of magnets. So I think that if we don't go through these three steps, will never succeed in bringing in Europe the production. That means a long-term commitment from the side of the Commission, and also, joining of effort from actors that maybe normally don't work together, but for this goal need to team. So I think this is really at the core of a problem. I don't know if this is in line with what is your thought, Pia, but I mean, we are trying to move in that direction.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any other comments at this point? I saw a comment from Zhao. As an end user, I believe a business model for components containing permanent magnets is necessary. Without it, the capacity for recycling magnets is too low and to be profitable. That's also strongly rely on EU policy and regulations to promote the development. Did you want to add anything? Okay. So then I guess my next question will be between the REM Hub and Permanet, which stakeholders are we missing? So I think we should just put that in the chat. And so, to see who else we can include. So if all the participants have any ideas, please put them in there. And then the third question is, given the current political situation, given the competition, how should we help frame EU policies on the competition? Do you have any initial suggestions there?
Sorry, Simona, can you repeat your last question, please?
Of course. So, given the current political situation, the tariffs, developments, however you want to call it, how should we help suggesting policies or frame policies? I mean, we're one of the two strategic projects together with REM Hub, so it's fully expected from us to have some kind of suggestions. So Christina, I saw you put your camera on, so I'm assuming you want to say something.
Yes, definitely. And actually, this is very much in line that what we discussed already earlier and what was pointed out by the colleagues. And it goes on different layers. First of all, in generally, I believe that by having this just a collaboration kind of clustering activities between these two projects is very essential. But then by being aware what kind of policy making is going on at the moment and to impact on those one directly. For example, when it comes to the recycling or the circular economy issues and related matters, there are policy processes are in there now. And at the same time, of course, there are different practices and systems to impact on that one. And we should take a very serious action on those ones, that how we have a systematic message and approach. Actually, these challenges which were already pointed out there. And then it's a kind of strategic approach to policy making. And the weak points we have been already discovered, what has to be improved, what is missing, and who is doing what and how it can be done, has been discovered and discussed already during this session. And that's something that how to turn this all into the discussions. And then after all, we have to understand that those one who are making the policies at the European Commission level are not expert on this matter. So it's a very important also to how to translate and interpret these issues into the language, what can be used by the policymakers as well. And then it, of course, is the member state level as well, but definitely to direction of the European Commission. And as listening all of you and learning this what's going on, it is very important that we make these translations, because during this half a year already so many issues have been discovered. And then at the same time, it's also the thing that to tell what's going on, because it's a problem a bit with the project world and project life, that so we can that the projects are going on their own bubble on the way. And I believe that that is definitely the strength that we are looking for, the collaborations and finding the way how to complement, because together we can make a bigger effort. But definitely there are many other projects as well which are related with the same issue way or another in the earlier calls. And we should also see that how we can more develop this common voice, because that's the issue. Sorry to having kind of long answer or comment on that one, but I can definitely see already now what are the issues what we should raise up together, and on the way also to interpretate for the policymakers that they are able to adapt these issues.
Maria, I wasn't sure if you wanted to say something, but I also see Tullio has his hand raised.
Yeah, I just want to add to what Christina already said. I mean, this is a very important point to have support for a European policy. So we already mentioned some points like the capacity of having manufacturing technologies to be able to produce in high scale, the possibility of de-risking for companies. But also, I think we should be connected to the specific end goals. I think we need to really put effort to obtain results related to goals of having magnets in products. So, in other words, we can do all the steps, but if we are not able to produce the magnets that are needed in real products, then we are not fulfilling our goal, right? So I think this is more a kind of strategy which you can use when you have a big effort that you want to introduce in a country. It's like a bit man on the moon, right? So the point is to set up a very ambitious goal that obviously is related to the application, and then going backward to see what we can do in order to reach that goal. So that I think is more interesting also for companies, because they see immediately what is the reason why we are doing a lot of activities, a lot of research. And I think that if the European Commission starts thinking this way, it will have a much broader impact, because many policies now are designed in a way that you develop projects and then you try to understand how you can have an impact with these projects. And so you try to see what can you do with the results and so on. But if you design the project from the other way around, you say, let's start from the desired results, and then let's go backward, then, the impact is quite immediate. I mean, is it by design, So I think this is really needed at European level. And at the moment, it's not done in that way. So I think that we could push in that direction.
Okay. Any opinions on that? Marie, did you want to say anything?
I'm just complimenting the Tullio that it's exactly what I agree totally with.
Okay. I mean, I think we mostly covered the questions that we had open. Matthias, do you have anything else to add?
No, Simona.
Okay, so from my side, the key takeaways are we need to find funding, and we need to find a a way to communicate with the European Commission to get more involved into the policy making. So those are my main two takeaways. And leverage the risks, the financial risks. Mark, Pascal, I see you have your camera on, so I'm assuming you want to say something.
Yes, thank you, Simona.
Please do.
You say that we need funds and financing, but I think it's actually more than that. We need a financing model. And this is the challenge going forward. That's number one. Number two, I don't know if in this group we have discussed the implications for industrial policy, because the CRM market and a permanent magnet market and critical raw materials, rare earth elements, that's not a typical market. We are talking about extremely small quantities. And there is no scope for 25 facilities that recover indium from flat panel displays, for example. So we need a mechanism, we need a model whereby facilities are awarded or are attributed to certain member states in the European Union. And we need a mechanism where these things are discussed at the EU level, in my opinion. But I'm not an expert on industrial policy. And the third thing I wanted to say regarding your question about who else is missing in the value chain, I could think of, for example, because you mentioned digital twinning, or at least the Marie mentioned digital twinning. I don't know what she has in mind, but if it is connected to the digital product passport, I think we need to connect with the whole world of DPP service providers. And all this is coming up. Also, for example, there's the working plan from the European Commission that was issued just a few weeks ago, and the ESPR plan and so on. So we need to involve these people to see how this can be embedded in the digital product passport. These are my three observations.
Marie?
Yeah, thank you, Pascal, for bringing that up. The colleague who is working specifically related to the magnet passport, the idea is somewhat similar to the DPP. So they are actually contributing to the DPP for EU conference that is happening in June. So we have started the collaboration in this regard. But any new suggestions to contribute to this initiative or policy directions would be really appreciated.
Okay. Mark, did you want to add anything?
Yes, in fact, the whole things certainly in Permanet, and it is the work package 6, is to collect the information of the different work package, the work package 3, 4, 5, the technical one, and to build a business plan and to have discussion with possible private investor or European bank to see how can we go further with the result that we have, because we have 13 innovation, possible innovation, and when we shall have pilots. Because we build, and Remap and so on, we build a complete value chain with a business plan, or we can divide a business plan in different things, or we can make a global business plan. But indeed, there is one thing we will be important in the rare earth and the permanent magnet is we need to avoid to have too many plants, and because the distance is important in the total cost price. But we need to think about that also. But we make a business plan of the whole value chain.
Okay.
Sorry, just on this point, I agree, of course, that we need a business plan, but we need to go beyond a business plan for a company. We need some kind of overall financing model, because we are talking about huge costs, of course. And at the end of the day, perhaps it could be embedded in a visible fee for products that are sold on the market, which is currently now the case. So in some countries, so consumers, when they buy a product, they pay a fee that goes towards paying for the costs related to treatment and recycling of that cost of that product. for example, for refrigerators or everything that bears a cost, of course. And then, so in my opinion, we need a similar mechanism to allow or to enable consumers to pay part of these costs. And these are not the only costs. There are other costs as well that are relatively new. For example, fires associated with batteries in we. But this is a different matter now. But what I'm saying is that we need an overall financing model that allows for consumers to pay for these costs.
Okay.
Okay. Also, one thing I would like to announce, we will have the Permanet annual event in October this year. So we'll send you the link and the invite. You will be able to participate physically or virtually. So, I mean, we'll have the partnership meeting, but we'll also have the full event on promoting or discussing about rare earth materials and permanent magnets in Porto Roche during an event organized by another institute. So we'll put that in the response to this event. But also any ideas or the wishes for contributions, let's say, are more than welcome. So we'll send that to everyone that's registered for this event. Christina, would you like to add anything?
No, I think it's I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Okay. I think we know what our tasks are and how to proceed.
Yes.
We did a
yes.
work package too.
Yeah, and then also for just in general to information for everyone that Peter managed to send a message through his brother that
Yeah, I
he
saw.
was about this electronic issue, and that was definitely a pity, and that impacted the participation of many of our partners and colleagues in the project.
Yeah, but also, I mean, the next event on the hub will be in Porto Roche in October.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah, please,
Simon,
Mark.
Simon, one word maybe. We know what we want to do with the hubs and the platform, but it is important also that the people who are still present send in the chat, for example, what they want to have, because we know what we want to deliver, but maybe that there is some question of some demand that some partners have, that it's important that we collect that we can answer on all the questions that the people have to have certainly a hub where everybody shall say, wow. Okay.
Absolutely. And actually, I was thinking during these presentations, given the electricity issues, that maybe what we could do is do a survey through our network and through the RAM Hub and other projects related to rare earth materials to gather more information. And because on Friday, we had 74 people that registered for the event. Today, the highest was 57. So that's maybe a way to reach.
Yeah.
But maybe Christina, Mark, and me and Matthias, we could have a call and see if
Yes.
that would be something that we would want to do.
Yes, because you know that we made a questionnaire for what the people think about the platform, and we can extend that maybe for the hub also. We can have maybe a call. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Christina,